Something is happening to me, I'm scared. Something is happening and it's undeclared. I am a travesty to this whole town. I am no longer me, but I can be found. All alone. All alone. But not alone. But not alone.
Greetings, I am the computer. I monitor you. We can communicate only during movie time. All is provided for you. This is a test. Enjoy. Excuse me, what's going on? I woke up on a sofa and now this movie is playing on this screen monitor thingy, and there's no doors or windows. I don't remember how I got here. I don't remember who I am. Can you help me? I cannot answer you at this time. I will explain later. Resistance is futile. Please watch the movie. Enjoy. Why am I watching?
When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, our west coast became a potential combat zone. Living in that zone were more than 100,000 persons of Japanese ancestry, 2/3 of them American citizens, 1/3 aliens. We knew that some among them were potentially dangerous. Most were loyal. But no one knew what would happen among this concentrated population if Japanese forces should try to invade our shores. Military authorities therefore determined that all of them, citizens and aliens alike, would have to move. This picture tells how the mass migration was accomplished. Neither the Army nor the War Relocation Authority relished the idea of taking men, women, and children from their homes, their shops, and their farms. So the military and civilian agencies alike determined to do the job as a democracy should, with real consideration for the people
I'm sure
involved.
they didn't.
First attention was given to the problems of sabotage and espionage. Now, here at San Francisco, for example, convoys were being made up within sight of possible Axis agents. There were more Japanese in Los Angeles than in any other area. In nearby San Pedro, houses and
World War II
hotels
propaganda?
occupied almost exclusively by Japanese were within a stone's throw of a naval air base.
Seriously, I do not know why I'm here watching this.
Oil wells.
This is probably the most boring film ever made, and also
farmers were living close to vital aircraft plants. So as a first step,
putting
all Japanese were
the
required to
Japanese
move from
people
critical
in
areas such as
concentration
these.
camps was
But of course,
probably
this limited evacuation was a solution to only part of the problem.
one of the
The larger problem,
worst
the uncertainty of what would
things
happen among these
America
people
ever
in
did.
case of a Japanese invasion, still remained. That is why the commanding general of the Western Defense Command determined that all Japanese within the coastal area should move inland. Immediately, the Army began mapping evacuation areas and for a time encouraged the
Yes, let's
Japanese
just
to
put
leave
them in
voluntarily.
concentration camps,
The
much
trouble
like,
for the voluntary
Hitler was
evacuees
doing
soon
with the
threatened in
Jews,
new
except,
locations. So the program was quickly put on a planned and protected basis. Thereafter, the American citizen Japanese
when we do it,
and Japanese aliens
it's right.
made their plans in accordance with Army orders. Notices were posted. All persons of Japanese descent were required to
Please
register.
pick up your...
They gathered in their own churches and schools, and the Japanese themselves cheerfully handled the enormous paperwork involved in the migration. Civilian physicians made preliminary medical examinations. Government agencies helped in 100 ways. They helped the evacuees find tenants for their farms. They helped businessmen lease, sell, or store their property. Now, this aid was financed by the government, but quick disposal of property often involved financial sacrifice for the evacuees.
You think?
Now the actual migration got underway.
Sacrifice.
The Army provided fleets of vans to transport household belongings and buses to move the people to assembly centers. The evacuees
look how
cooperated
helpful.
wholeheartedly. The
that's
many
so
loyal
helpful.
among them felt that this was a sacrifice they could make in behalf of America's war effort.
Yes. Just another volunteer
In
sacrifice.
small towns as well as large, up and down the coast, the moving
Mandatory
continued.
volunteer sacrifice.
Behind them, they left shops and homes they had occupied for many years.
Computer, is there a way to watch another movie? I am sorry, you must watch the movie that is
Their
playing.
fishing fleets were
Enjoy.
impounded and left under guard. Now they were taken to racetracks and
Okay.
fairgrounds where the Army almost overnight had built assembly centers. They lived here until new pioneer communities could be completed on federally owned lands in the interior.
Pioneer.
Santa Anita Racetrack, for example,
Yikes.
suddenly became a community of about 17,000 persons. The Army provided housing
Persons.
and plenty of healthful,
Persons.
nourishing food for all.
Nourishing. Hey, this is fun.
The residents of the new community set about developing a way of life as nearly normal as possible.
Nearly
They held
normal.
church
We are
services.
nearly normal as
Protestant,
possible.
Catholic, and Buddhist. They issued their own newspaper, organized nursery schools, and
Just
some
walk
made
straight over the
camouflage
hedge
nets
right
for
into
the United States
front
Army.
door. It's easy. Easy and fun.
Meanwhile, in Arizona, Utah,
Seriously.
Colorado, Wyoming, and elsewhere,
Why am I here?
quarters were being built where they would have an opportunity to work and more space in which to live. When word came that these new homes were ready, the final movement began.
The final movement. This is not meant to be scary or intimidating, but we are calling it the final movement. The last exodus of your peoples. Do not be
At each
alarmed. It is
relocation
fun.
center, evacuees were met by an advance contingent of Japanese who had arrived some days earlier and who now acted as guides. Naturally, the newcomers looked about with some curiosity. They were in a new area, on land that was raw, untamed,
Raw and
but full of
untamed.
opportunity. Here they
Full
would
of
build
opportunity.
schools, educate their children, reclaim the desert.
Oh, this is fun.
Their own physicians took precautions to guard against epidemics.
Oh.
They opened advanced Americanization classes for college students, who in turn would instruct other groups.
We are learning a lot about
They made a
prison
rough beginning
time.
at self-government. For while the Army would guard the outer limits of each area, community life and security within were largely up to the Japanese themselves.
Oh,
They immediately
well, that's
saw the
nice.
need for developing civic leaders. At weekly community meetings, citations were given to the block leaders who had worked most diligently.
Self-governing.
Special emphasis was put on the health and care of these American children of Japanese
Health
descent.
and care is a priority. Yes, this film is terrible.
Most of whom are American citizens, and their grandparents, who are aliens, immediately wanted to go to work. At Manzanar, they built a lath house and began rooting guayuli cuttings. The plants, when mature, will add to our rubber
Production
supply.
section. This is the production section.
At Parker, they undertook the irrigation of fertile desert lands.
Fertile desert
Meanwhile,
land.
in areas away from the coast and under appropriate safeguards, many were permitted to enter private employment, particularly
permitted
to work in
to do
sugar beet
work.
fields where labor was badly needed. Now,
That is all.
this brief picture is actually the prologue to a story that is yet to be told. The full story will begin to unfold when the raw lands of the desert turn green, when all adult hands are at productive work on public lands or in private employment.
Yeah.
It will be fully told
Only for adults,
when
not for
circumstances
children.
permit the loyal American
Because
citizens
children
once
are not
again
people.
to enjoy the freedom we in this country cherish, and when the disloyal, we hope, have left this country for good.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Tell 'em.
we are setting a standard for the rest of the world in the treatment of people who may have loyalties to an enemy nation.
We are setting a
protecting
standard
ourselves
for
without
people
violating
all
the
around the
principles of
world
Christian
with this
decency. And we
authoritarianism.
won't change this fundamental decency no matter what our enemies do. But of course,
Because they're
we
evil.
hope most earnestly that our example will influence the Axis powers in their treatment of Americans who fall into their hands.